As I get ready for the day, I am going to reflect on last month and set my intentions for this coming month. Thought I would bring you along, so let's get moving. Welcome back to Simply Willow Sage. On this channel, I share my journey as I simplify and practice being more mindful. And of course, all that I learn along the way. Today is going to be a little different video. I hope that's okay, because it's going to have to be. All right, so it's the beginning of March. And so I have been reflecting on February and setting intentions for the coming month. And I was kind of overthinking how I wanted to film this video. And I looked at the clock and I was like, you know what? I got to get ready for the day. So I'm just going to do it all at the same time. And you know what? If it's not as organized or it's a little, oh, I did that wrong. If it's a little all over the place, that's me. I have to remind myself, speaking of intentions and reflections, I have to remind myself of my primary intention for this channel to begin with, which was I'm on a very, very intentional journey, a lot of life changes, and I am documenting for myself. So as much as I want to learn and grow, and I'm sharing this with other people, so if there are things that I can be intentional about as I do that, then I want to learn and do that. But I always have to stay true to that primary purpose. So that's what I'm doing today. I will try to be concise, but like I said, this is me you're talking about. First, I have to say, though, I am not a makeup guru. I'm not a super big makeup person. I am doing more today than I would normally do. Yeah, so I don't do things perfectly. I kind of make things work for myself. I am out of concealer. So what I'm doing is a couple spots that are just kind of red or whatever. I am putting some foundation in them first, just so they can kind of have a double layer. That's not proper, but it's what's happening today. Okay. So, reflecting on February. Why is it so red here? What do I want to start with? Hold on. Oh, shoot. I can't see. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. All right, let me get this hair out of my face without messing it up too much. It's kind of backwards. I've got jewelry on first, but I have started actually, I started the night before. I've kind of always had the intention of putting out clothes for the next day, whether I'm going somewhere specific or not. But what I've started doing is, I guess this is cutting down on decision fatigue and whatnot, but I go ahead the night before and I set out earrings, rings, any jewelry, and the next morning, I don't think about it. I don't try to change my mind. I just put it on. And that kind of speaks to something. I'm moving toward the idea of capsule wardrobe, whatever you want to call it, getting rid of a bunch. So I am trying to wear the same stuff-ish all the time and just see how that feels before I go full force. But another chat for another day. All right, so I thought I would start by reflecting on the month of February. Just some things. So what I've got a list. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I don't know what I want to talk about first. All right, let me pull my notes up. Brian just called and messed up my brain. Okay, so last month, overall was good. Not quite what I expected it to be or I intended to be, but that's okay because that's one reason I like intentions. I feel like my brain still jumped around a good bit, but I'm trying to show myself some grace and remind that as I'm in this new season, everything's kind of new, my work and everything, and so I'm still kind of establishing my groove, and so that's going to be part of the process. So, that's something I had set for myself last month, was to show myself more grace. So I am. All right. So learning, my intention for learning was to learn more about mindfulness. Well, I definitely did. I have read and learned quite a bit, especially in terms of even getting an even better idea of what it is and what it's not. And more than anything, I think learning more about what it means for me, for myself. So I don't know if that counts or not. That's more of a reflective thing, but it is what it is. I feel like I'm so red right here. I did jump around, and one of my intentions was to focus instead of trying to learn about so many things all the time, trying to be more focused. And I did better at that, but I still didn't do great. So definitely more room for growth there. This is the most YouTube makeup ever, but whatever. I just like to pat it in and then blend it out. So, yeah, so with learning, I was probably more focused than I had been the month or two before that, but not as focused as I'd like to be. At least I think I'd like to be. We'll see. But, yeah. So, moving into, let me focus on February. Actually, so moving into March, we'll just do it how my brain does it. Moving into March, I will continue to learn, or to be learning about mindfulness, but it's going to be much more paced. So, I am working through the mindfulness-based stress reduction certification, and so that has weekly, sorry, I got a text message, that has a weekly topics and readings, and I do those just a little bit every day, so that will be a little more constant, and I think for a topic like that, that's going to work best for my brain anyway. Another intention I had was to work to meditating 3 times a day. Definitely did not happen. With the exception of just a couple of days, I did meditate pretty much every morning or every day. I need to get a new beauty blender. Anyway, I did do pretty much every day, but definitely not like the set 3 times a day. And I know I'm a routine person, so I think that was why I wanted to kind of have it more scheduled throughout the day. But what I think is going to work best for me, so moving forward, I'm going to really focus my meditation time in the morning and before bed, and I want to fine-tune the before bed stuff. But instead of having like a part of my routines that at this time of day, I meditate, my motivation behind even setting that intention was that it be kind of consistent as my brain shifts. So instead of having set times to do it, what I'm doing is focusing on meditating whenever I feel the need to make a transition with my activity levels or my thought processes. Yeah, so in terms of steadfast or hard set places in my schedule, morning and before bed. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me. But for the times throughout the day, my intention and focus is going to be taking, even if it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, as I'm transitioning my focus, I'm going to meditate as a way of clearing the mind, both of what I've already thought about and getting it ready for what I'm going to focus on, and transitioning. All right, so another intention I had was to be more consistent with, I hate the word diet, with my food, just my daily how I'm eating my meal plans. And that went really, really well. It was very, very consistent. And I can definitely feel a major difference in really everything. My mood, my digestion, my energy levels. So I'm really, really excited about that. I've really done a lot better listening to my body and not my brain thinking about my body. So that was really, really good as well. And so, focus. So I did make a few adjustments based on my body, and that was really minimal. So I decided to try doing oats in the morning again instead of the smoothies. And I think the cold is part of that. The cold was, yeah, it was part of that for sure. What am I doing? Yeah, so I was just wanting a little more warm, savory in the morning, and wasn't as excited for the smoothies, and so I tried this, and I'm really liking having the oats. I'm sitting down with the kids at breakfast to eat, and that's been really nice too. So, and I did shift around a little bit. Like, I was having, basically a Buddha bowl, both lunch and dinner. So, Delilah, stop. So, greens, a grain, beans, veggies, and healthy fat. And I wondered if simplifying my digestion would work better. So, the last couple of weeks, I've been doing the greens, the grain, and the veggies at lunch with a healthy fat. And then at night, I'm doing sweet potato, my beans, and healthy fat. And I think so far, I think that's worked well so that my body's digesting fewer types of foods at one time. So food's been good. And the last one was yoga. Not good. I have not gotten back on my game in terms of yoga consistency. I think that mentally, I was just focusing much more on my getting, in a groove with my other routines, bedtime and things like that it was just really difficult for me to get moving with yoga. And I can definitely feel the effects of that. I'm showing myself grace because I am fine-tuning my routine, but definitely can feel it physically, so I want to change that moving forward. I have been trying out this stick instead of using powder because my skin is so dry. I feel like it really does best with as little powder as possible on it, and so far I'm liking this. And when I'm doing just a simple look, I've been just using this for some color in my eyes. Don't know if I want to do something else today or not. I think I am. I'm just going to do this. Makes it super simple, less products. Sorry, you don't want to see that. Anyway, what's that talking about? Yeah, so I feel like I've gotten my routines good enough that I've been shifting my bedtime back to get up earlier. And so, yeah. So moving forward, again, the beauty of intentions is it was an intention of mine. And so now I'm evaluating. It's not like a hard, fast goal. I'm not saying that when you set goals and you don't quite meet them, you feel like a failure. I just know how my brain works, and this works better for me to keep my mindset on the process and not as much on, pass or fail, yes or no, that type of mentality. My brain just tends to go there faster. So this is kind of retraining my brain. All right, so moving forward to intentions for March. If I had to pick one word that I want to manifest in March, my first thought would be balance. But as I was journaling these reflections, I really, balance is one of my words for the whole year. And I feel like that might be too, I don't know, I might need to get a little more specific. So I think more than balance, what I want to see manifested in March is just more pace. Pace does not come easily to me. I tend to go from 0 to 100, and that's not always a bad thing, but with making life changes, I tend to skip over the small steps that lead up to. And so I want to focus on pacing. I wanted to break down my intentions into like more clear-cut categories, like whether it's physical wellness, mental health and wellness, emotional wellness. I consider trying to kind of categorize it just for me to stay more focused on, say, you know, my mind, my body, my spirit, but everything had the same theme. And this is going to end up being really my theme for March is sleep. Now, I know everybody talks about sleep these days, but I'm just realizing I've known that I needed to work on my sleep for a long time, but I'm just seeing how, like, the gravity that the lack of sleep and lack of quality sleep has had on me. And as I'm going through a phase that I'm really rethinking productivity, and that's another topic, but yeah, really everything is everything about how I'm fine-tuning my routines. What does that mean? It's all going toward the thought of sleep. So my intentions for my physical health, sleep. Mental health, sleep. And I'm adjusting my schedule and routines for that. It's about to die. 1 second. All right, it says I only have 2 minutes left. I don't know why. Maybe I can get done. All right, I'm going to be concise. So yeah, so my intentions are to establish, basically do a makeover of everything that I do about sleep. So my environment, my evening routine, even my routine throughout the day. I've got plans for changing up I'm going to kind of create my own bedroom. We'll get to that. Yeah, basically just preparing my mind, my body, my spirit, emotions, all of those things to better sleep. So in the next video, I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to have a whole series of videos about the things that I've learned and continuing to learn about sleep and the steps I'm taking. I'll kind of share that process with you and take you along. Yeah. So those are my intentions. I want to know what are your intentions in March? How is your February? Yeah, just your whole process. How is February going? What do you want to see more of in March and less of in March? And any plans you have to do that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. That way when these new sleep videos come out and all my other random thoughts, you won't miss a thing. Follow me on Instagram as well. I like to chat there. And I will see you in a few days. Until next time, keep it simple and be well. I beat the clock. I beat the clock. Woo! You ready, Cassie?